All right, test, test, test. Let me get these audio just right. Give me a minute. Hope you guys are doing well. To be honest, I'm hoping you guys aren't calling in today or watching this. Catch this later when it's not the holidays. I had some issues on a big project I've been working on for a year and sent the family out, and I'll be hopefully catching up with them later. But welcome to the stream. Things are looking good. Welcome to the weekly whale watch, dude runner. Let me switch screens. There, audio should be good. Yeah, so welcome to the weekly whale watch. We hang out here for about an hour. We talk stocks. We talk crypto Twitter. We talk Bitcoin. We talk whale theory. We talk rainbow theory. We talk analyzing charts and all the etc. And if you're ever curious why any of my charts look so damn crazy, it's because I use rainbow theory. I use a lot of bots and about 10,000 lines of code to actually help me out. I'm not the best trader in the world, so I tried to help make some tools. That's what this is all about, if you're curious why my charts don't look like that. And if you want to find out anything about us, it's rainbow-trends or rainbowtrends.com. You can find out all about it. And shout out to all the new dudes who've been checking us out, and some of the guys who are looking for like some of the actual tutorial data. We have the tutorial page, which is the wiki that I'm still building out, but this is the greatest data we have so far. But the one thing is just check out we still have the original introduction videos for every single tool, and that'll walk you through all this stuff. A lot of guys have been getting into the liquidation engine stuff and liquidation levels, and it's a bit much. Frankly, I never want to have to code that again, but it's a long story. But we can look at some of it today. If you guys have any questions, hit us up. But we're going to do this for about an hour. And then we're going to go head out in the Rainbow Trends Discord and do the roundtable. If you're ever curious, our Discord has no paywalls. It's like the best Discord in the world, in my opinion. Albeit that's biased, right? But no, we've got some awesome dudes in there. Great vibes. And we've been around for a very long time. And when all these other Discords kind of blew up during the last bear market, these dudes kept at it, kept getting better at their trades, and it's been cool to see. But if you want to find out the Discord community link, it's always at the top of the website, at the top of the banner. But shall we move on? Let me see. Let me get the audio down just a little bit. Hope you guys are doing well. Test, test, test. It should be good. All right. So this happens a few times a year. I think typically around... Oh, let me start off. Let me back up. The stream is intended to be used for educational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as financial advice. You know the rules. Anyway, TradingView, you guys might not know this. I own I think 2 premium TradingView accounts at this point, like almost the highest end ones, if not the highest end ones, just so that we can run all the bots and stuff on the Discord, and then all the other stuff that I do with development and bot trading and stuff like that. But these come up a few times a year, and I know TradingView is really expensive. Depending on what level you want, like if you really look at it. But they do these Easter sales, and they do Christmas and sometimes Black Friday stuff. They have some really good deals, up to 80% off. So take advantage of this. I personally buy these once a year when they come on sale. It saves me a lot of money. Because trust me, it's a lot. Anyway, moving on. If you guys don't know, we did an impromptu fishing trip last weekend. And I buried my truck with my family, and they got super scared. But luckily, I got to use recovery boards that I got for Christmas. So I've never used recovery boards before, and I was almost buried to the frame rails on my Tundra with in soft sand, pulling a trailer and all my shark fishing gear, kayaks, surfboards, all that junk. And I thought, there's no way this is gonna get me out. So I half kind of just shoveled the sand out in front of the front tires and threw the 2 recovery boards underneath it. And dude, I got out. It was awesome. So shout out to the cheap Amazon recovery boards that are like $50. Albeit tariffs may have ruined that. But anyway, here's a nice pretty photo of us on the beach. And you'll notice that thing in the background. That is a friggin' shrimp boat. And to this day, almost to this day, I think in all my years of fishing, I've never caught a shark with a shrimp boat on the horizon. If you guys don't know, if there's a shrimp boat around, there's dead fish floating behind these things in a trail, and basically all the sharks that are here on the beach go straight out there and chase these things around in packs. So I wasn't very happy, but we were going to try to make the best of it. There was a bait everywhere, but the fishing was pretty dead. luckily around midday, the shrimp boats left, and I took a nap in the camper, woke up, started running baits again, and we actually got a really nice black tip. So this is actually a really nice one. If you guys don't know, black tips don't get too big. Thank God, because like surfing and playing in the water would not be a thing if these things hit 10 feet. I think the world record's probably like 8 foot, but for the most part, we rarely ever see them over 5 feet. This was actually a pregnant 5-footer that we actually tagged and released, and my daughter got to catch it. So I was super pumped because this is the first time she's caught a fish bigger than her. And not many people have ever said that, and I got my daughter on the board. So I was very, very excited. And this bad boy ate a sheep's head fish. So it was pretty cool. So we busted off a shark. The shrimp boats were gone. You see no more shrimp boats on the horizon. That's an oil rig, and that's an oil rig there. And then we started getting into just run after run after run, and I lost a very, very big shark, unfortunately. The sun set, and lo and behold, we had my daughter's telescope out, and we thought we saw a UFO. All across multiple states in the southern hemisphere reported seeing this thing. And, like, I love watching all the Area 51 documentaries and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've never seen anything I would ever think is like a UFO or remotely close to it. Totally think there's life out there and stuff, but like I've legit never seen anything cool. We're sitting there, probably 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, pure darkness, full moon out. Daughter's got her telescope out. She's pointing it towards the moon. My dad's facing the other way with his back to the wind. He goes, "What's that?" And dude, we saw this. We saw this ball of light slowly going upwards, and then it ejected this halo around it. It flew through the halo, and then it just kind of vanished and disappeared. And I was like, first off, that was upward trajectory. That wasn't coming down. It's not fast like a meteorite that's going sideways or coming down. I was like, I have no idea. And it shot that halo ring around it. People have been reporting this and coming back and saying it was actually they were saying it was a SpaceX stage separation, but this was actually a flight from Florida. And I guess over the course of an hour, it flew over Texas and did the stage separation. Dude, it was only lasted like 30 seconds, but I was just sitting there shell-shocked looking at this, and I was typing into Google, and I was like, dude, is there anything flying over us right now? Or like, is there NASA or SpaceX up to anything? And it was telling me no. So I was like, oh boy. And then shortly after the space launch thing that we saw, freaked out and thinking it was a UFO, we actually busted out another shark before the weather turned out. So it was pretty cool to actually see some black tips on the sand. I think we caught 1 bull red, 3 black tips, and then a small southern Atlantic. But it was really cool to see, and got the whole family on it. My son caught a shark, my daughter caught a shark, my dad got a bull red, and then I got a really nice shark as well. I wish we'd have got some video of, because it went absolutely bonkers. But if you're asking yourself, hey, what's Runner's favorite fishing reels? Believe it or not, there is a fishing reel company called Avid that makes multicolored fishing reels, and they are freaking awesome. And I think 2 years ago, I actually found one of their most high-performance reels sitting in a pawn shop for dirt cheap, mislabeled, thinking it's probably stolen, but it's too cheap to pass up. I bought a HXW Raptor so I can flex on crypto ISO. This little tiny reel does like 60 pounds of drag and can hold like 700 yards of line. But it's got a 2-speed system that can actually has like a tractor gear. So what we do is we put the rod in the rod holder so the shark can pull on that, and then we let my daughter reel it in tractor mode. And she was actually able to catch a shark like a foot taller than her. So it was really cool. And yeah, when I say multicolored, I mean multicolored. You can get red, green, gray. I've seen a grayish brown one. Purple. Purples are really cool. There's pinks. I feel like they're missing a color. They even do some ones that are like mahi color. There you go. They even do some that are camouflage and mahi color. These reels are friggin' fantastic. It's what we use for a majority of our shark fishing. I love these things to death. And then the casting ones, you can actually get magnet casting so they don't backlash. But anyway, you're not here for a fishing story. Welcome to the show. Hit the smash the like. We don't monetize any of this stuff. I play some music from some bands that I'm friends with that I like, so they get some, like, I guess, audio violation monetization. But for the most part, click the like. It goes a long way with these super sensitive algos. But where are we at? We are in a very fun time. We are in the middle of a trade war that's been going on for 2 weeks. Roughly 2 weeks. A little more than 2 weeks. And it's getting weird. I can't keep up with it. I've been too busy. This project that I've been working on for offshores, I've been working on it for over a year. It actually shipped this week, and we had a bunch of failures along the way. So I've been super bowed up and just kind of casually keeping tabs. And frankly, by the time you try to predict what Trump and the White House are going to do, they pivot and do something else. So I think at this point, tariffs are what, 245%? I don't even know if the numbers are made up anymore, to be honest with you. And finance a lot, who knows? But the thing is where we're at, tariffs got bumped up across the board. He backed him off on all the other countries. All the other countries banded together with the United States. China tried to reach out and get all the other countries to stand in solidarity, even a bunch of their neighbors and stuff. And they're like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not really cool with doing a free open trade agreement with a neighbor of ours that tends to have arguments of where their borders are. But it's coming along. It's progressing. This is going to end at some point. All wars, whether it's trade wars or real wars, come to an end. Except, I guess, maybe the war on drugs. That one may never end. But the point is we've got things playing out. And obviously, this is messing with crypto. This is messing with Fartcoin. This is messing with gold. A lot of things. And the key is you need to be chill. You need to be sensitive. You need to have a plan together. And you need to understand, a lot of this technical stuff, you're going to have to go to the more extreme, for sure, setups to actually make progress in these. Because if you have a multi-tiered setup of something you're about to attack, and then they drop just the right headline at the right time, they can blow out your trade. So keep that in mind. But let me know. Hit up the chat. The other thing, we had this kind of week. We had a really good pullback on Powell comments. So if you guys don't know, Jerome Powell and Trump are fighting again. Not a shocker. Not a new thing either. But one thing that the market did pull back on, Jerome did a question, and someone was asking him, is will the Fed intervene if the stock market plummets? Because that's what everybody wants to do, is have an intervention. No, they won't. If he dies, he dies, is essentially. They've been having some emergency meetings of the Fed, mainly trying to see if we have liquidity issues. Reverse repos are going to zero, all this other stuff. But Trump's doing the tariff plan. That's playing out. Worldwide markets are aligning. There's some definitely short-term pain here. We kind of have to figure out where this is going to bottom out, and it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Anybody who tells you how this is going to play out exactly, you don't know. This is the whole world market reacting to Powell's comments in a Q&A, while at the same time, Trump is actually asking the Supreme Court if he can just straight up fire Jerome Powell. So it's interesting, very interesting. I don't think he can, and legally he can't right now, but he said, F it, we're going to ask the Supreme Court. Because right now, Trump wants Jerome to drop rates. And Jerome has been paused for quite a bit. And it took him a long time to even start to stop increasing rates, right? He kept increasing the Fed rates, FOMC after FOMC after FOMC. And then finally, he did a pause, and now he's kind of chilling out. And Trump's got a giant thing of debt over his head. He's trying to refinance that stuff. So we have to pay attention to all this stuff, because it's you got a really cool Elliott wave theory thing on Cardano. That's cool. It's really cool. But this stuff matters really, really bigly. And there's been some fun with this. I've seen a lot of headlines, and I wish I could have found more, but people have basically been taking this template and putting in who he thinks is going to be the next Fed chair. And it's actually fantastic because it's the most ridiculous things. But they're saying Trump is considering Bill Hwang, they're not, to replace Jerome Powell as the next Fed chair. Sources say Walter Bloomberg is being considered. Anyway, I like dumb comedy, And that type of stuff I just absolutely love. But what you're here for, right? You're tired of red and green charts. You're tired of playing. You want to see what the algos are doing. You want to see what the whales are doing. Let's take a look at some charts. The S&P, we've had some really good streams in the past. A lot of you guys are engaged with them, and we went back and looked at like history. What does history show? What's the worst that can happen, right? Because frankly for me, and this is just kind of how I've been as an individual growing up in life, whether it's for better or for worse or right or wrong, I always just plan for the worst. And if we do any better than the absolute worst, I consider that a win. So prepare for hell and just hope you don't have to face it is kind of where I go with it. So S&P 500 has never really done a 99% pullback. So like that's an easy, this isn't going to like $200, right? You got to figure out where's some point where this paint is going to stop. And that's the reality of it. But let me know what you think. Like I think we could argue that's enough. Maybe we keep dragging out and retouch some of this stuff, but I could definitely see the argument that 4,800 is enough. Now, I remember a long time ago, let me turn liquidation engine on. When we got here on this drawdown at this beautiful peak, it was a 30% pullback, and S&P went from 4,800 all the way down to 36. And I remember vividly when we were in the 3,600s, everybody was calling for 3,000, and we didn't get there. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people calling lower targets again, and that's kind of a thing I'm keeping cognizant of because I don't know where this is going to bottom. To be honest with you, no one knows. But you have to be cognizant of, in the moment, you're in a buying opportunity that's forming. The Pico bottom may be here or we're getting close to it, but we can tell you there's a macro thing at play here that's changing, and it's unwinding. As it unwinds, you have to figure out where you're going to go. But from there, we just don't know where it is yet. But it's one of those things is we don't want to do all this, come back up here, and then you look back that way and go, hey, that was actually a really, really good buying opportunity. Man, I screwed that up. We don't want to do that. At the same time, we don't want to buy a bunch right here and then have this thing go all the way down. So we're kind of looking at like what's the worst possible. And on those previous streams, this was really looking at like what is the absolute worst thing that could ever happen. And that's what we're looking at like here. It's like this is like new ground being broken if we can actually do this. You're talking about huge implications in the world markets for that to happen. Not a good thing, obviously. But it gives you kind of grounding because there's no reason for you to sit at 5,000, 5,300 on the S&P and worry about 2,500. Like, that's not really a thing. Not to say it can't happen, but I can definitely say that's never happened before. And if I know that's never been happened before, that's kind of a definitive wall of which I can play, hey, that's the worst I can go. That's the hill that gets, we all die on. So that's why I pay so much attention to the S&P. This is the market driver for Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin drives everything in crypto, and you want to think Bitcoin does its own thing and doesn't care. I will always disagree because I've never seen the S&P pull back for a month straight and see Bitcoin go straight up for a month. Like, that doesn't happen. You can get some delays where this can go for a little while and then Bitcoin plays catch up, but that's just how I look at it. They always follow each other. But right now, still, this is like the worst case death area. And I don't think we're going to get, like, COVID levels couldn't touch this. This is, like, way worse. This is, like, 1980 free fall. This is 2000 .com bubble, 1930s Great Depression type stuff. But we'll see. So it basically means, hey, this pullback we got, this was a good one. We pulled back 22% on the S&P in a short period of time. Very sharply. This is very, very, very sharp. Remember, COVID wasn't a day bounce. It took weeks. Like a week. Maybe two. But that's the point. You're in it. And this is the time to wake up and pay attention and get off your butt because you're getting the opportunity for the S&P markets to be way down. Mag 7's bleeding. And you're getting opportunities on Mag 7 stocks that are down 50% from the all-time highs. if you're a believer in any of this stuff, you're going to believe that the Mag 7s eventually go back to an all-time high. So you are looking at a 50% drawdown on some of the biggest stocks in the world. So keep that in mind. I was checking the Golden Dragon China Index. Or if you guys have any questions on the S&P, let me know in the chat. But looking at the Golden Dragon China Index, I just wanted to check out this because we used to look at this back in the day. This is basically a big thing of Chinese companies in the United States. I was like, well, if there's anything that's going to get destroyed by tariffs, it's going to be this ticker. And yeah, it just looks like death. Straight down channel walk, and now it's going sideways. So maybe you could argue this is accumulation. We could draw our things, but frankly, guys, I'm not willing to touch anything related to being long China right now. I'm sorry, CCP. Because it actually kind of looks clean. I can argue this. Hey, it's a range. And maybe you could trade the range. Maybe you can. Some people can, some people can't. But that's kind of what we're looking at. I'm messing up all these colors. There we go. So we'll see. I don't really ever trade this. I just keep it as kind of a thing I watch. But anyway, moving on. We need to get back to Bitcoin. So, I'm sorry, we're not Bitcoin. That's a few slides down. Back me up. So things are getting weird. Hang Seng's down, DJI's down, Bitcoin's down, all these different things. Trade wars going into effect. This one actually caught my eyes. Zillow flipped bearish on housing. It now forecasts U.S. home prices will fall 2% over the next year. I haven't seen a house pricing drop in years. So if they're actually forecasting that, that's actually kind of interesting to see if they're thinking about doing that. With New Orleans and San Francisco leading. New Orleans is interesting. San Francisco I can understand. I don't understand New Orleans, though. I like New Orleans. But anyway, we'll see. This is not a healthy thing, obviously. Looking at DJI went down and actually smacked our previous order block. I'll go zoom way out where you can see where it was previously here. This entire run. Gone. Fully retraced. Dow Jones went up 22%. It came all the way back down. 18%. And remember, up is more than down. So you can go infinite up, you can only go 100% down. So anyway, DJI is not doing so hot. But this is where I'm saying the doomers are calling for slow. Right? Maybe we'll get there. Maybe the bears are right. Maybe the bears win. Or we're going to hit one of these levels of support. And I see one of these levels. There's support levels everywhere. But when we zoom in here, there's a clear order block here. And there's a clear order block here at like 35. There's another one at like 37. And we've tapped it. So this, maybe we flash wicked it. But typically these kind of look like death wick setups. When I see death wick setups, it goes bam, bam, and then kind of comes down again. I don't think that's what this is doing, but it's something I keep in mind. Anytime you have a violent move that fast, it's cool to knife catch, but it's I don't bet on V bottoms unless they're ridiculous, and that's normally a crypto thing. I don't really mess with V bottoms on stocks. Anyway, I'm so tired. I've been working like 12-hour days nonstop for engineering and then doing rainbow trends on the side and taxes, so it's been fun. But taxes are filed, taxes are paid. Very, very cool vibes sending that much money to the IRS, but have fun, IRS. Please enjoy the tribute, and please don't do an audit because I don't want to go through that either. But you know, it is what it is. U.S. oil's been going down. This is obviously another sector indicator. Healthy economy. I typically see it consuming oil. I'm real sensitive to oil. I work in the oil field. 65 is not so fun, but we actually went down to like 55, which is real shitty. And if you guys don't know how like oil field operators work, there's these gigantic oil rigs offshore. And when I say gigantic, I'm talking like 50,000 horsepower worth of diesel engines keeping a floating city alive with over 100 people on board with probably over 50 restrooms, showers, bunk beds, medical services, Captain Bridge, all this type of stuff. Like, they're insanely big. And it's a lot of money. But when they're working, you've got something that can produce 10,000 barrels of oil a day off one tree, and it can do a lot of damage. when I say a lot of damage, you can have multiple trees producing $500,000 each per day. So if you want to pay to play, it works out. And the problem, I say the problem. One of the things, and hold on, I just realized the chat is broken. These guys place their bets. They plan their oil field based on dollar levels. And basically they're saying it's like Shell will go into an oil field and say, hey, we will manage this system and we are willing to play on these levels for this long. And as long as oil is above so many dollars. Below this amount of dollars, it's not worth it. There's some infrastructure that's over 150 miles offshore, over 2 miles deep. Like, The Abyss is kind of half true of a movie, like when we're going that deep subsea. Albeit we don't send humans to the bottom of the ocean like that, or interact with aliens like that. But regardless, you get into the 50s and a lot of the oil field stuff starts not making sense anymore financially for a lot of people. So it's kind of scary to see it dip. But when we zoom out and look at this, it's actually looking pretty good. Not good, but it looks like a spring, right? Not to quote Wyckoff, but that's kind of how I see springy stuff. If it recovers, there's a clear support order block here somewhere. There's an ungodly amount of pivots. Draw it however you want. It's popping back up. And oh, look, chat's back online. What's up, dudes? iStutters from Twitch. Hello. Cole Goodzak on YouTube. If you guys don't know, we're on Twitter, X, same thing, YouTube, and Twitch now. But YouTube is the preferred chat, because I can actually chat back with you guys on them a little bit better than Twitter. Elon, please fix it. Anywho, I'm looking to see this recover. Like, you want to see the S&P show a bottom, start forming. You want to see oil start forming a bottom as well, right? Like, that's just kind of how it goes. And that's another thing I want to keep track of. Sometimes you'll see me also looking at diesel as well, because I look at commercial transport, like 18-wheelers and stuff. Like, that's what consumes diesel. And if the world's not shipping a lot of products, diesel prices tend to go down. And on like the 2009 financial market, like diesel and the S&P 500 bottomed like within hours of each other. So it's pretty interesting. Holy crap. Okay, the chat is blowing up. Thank you guys. Please hit the subscribe button and the like. We want to keep this channel low key. Hey RR, the link on your YouTube stream and in your tweet is broken. Even better, sir. Gosh, dog it. Hashtag pro streamer. I will fix that, but thank you so much, dude. They'll have to catch me on X. I'm complaining about X breaking, and then I'm having issues with YouTube. Let me edit that. How are you guys doing, though? Thanks for that, dude. Let me switch that. YouTube. So I have to go find my own link. Honestly, dude, I haven't checked diesel in a while. I probably need to. All right, let me fix that. Speaking of diesel, and this was totally not planned. Have you guys seen the Nissan, not the Nissan Titan Cummins? No. Have you seen the, let me go find it. The Cummins Octane? Have you heard of this? Have you seen this? We got time. We got time. We log in and show you this. It's loading right now. So check this out. TV stream. So if you guys don't know, all the Dodge 3/4 tons and the 1 tons, if they're a diesel, they run this engine. If they're recently new, I say recently new, or in the past 10 years, it's a 6.7 diesel from Cummins, and it's a pretty damn good engine. Cummins makes some of the best diesel products in the world. Always will, always have. So sue me. But they're tired of emissions, so they built a 6.7 diesel engine to run off gasoline, and they call it the Octane. And what this is, it's literally the 6.7 diesel engine they put in the Ram pickup trucks, but they lower the compression and set it up with spark plugs to run like a diesel engine. What you end up with is an inline 6 turbocharged, intercooled, inline 6 industrial, like heavy-duty engine that runs on gasoline, but because it runs on gasoline, it doesn't need emissions equipment. So this thing is like a way to get a diesel engine that runs on gasoline that doesn't need emission equipment. It's only going to make 300 horse, 600 torque. But dude, they're probably going to, like, when people start modifying this thing, it's going to be awesome. Anyway, I'm really interested to see what happens, and I'm curious if Dodge has exclusive rights to this gas engine. I know Dodge has exclusive rights to the Cummins diesel engines in the 3/4 tons. I don't know if they have that, so I'm actually really interested to see. But someone previously, since we got the chat working again, XRP, anything that looks like this makes me say Bart Simpsons, and I don't want to touch it. So I'm very, very, very skittish of this. This is one of those things where you say at a minimum, lock in. And when I say lock in, put some stop losses somewhere along here, or take some of your profit out, because this is where Rainbow Theory is telling you this is likely a top. Maybe we get a second leg, and it's actually pretty impressive how well it's hung up there, but these are one of those things where they go and then they nuke. And it's a really, really bloody drawdown. So this may actually be a nice short forming as well. But man, it's got the freaking rev band so tight. That's really interesting too. The oranges are down here. Anyway, moving on back to OGBTC. If you take a look at the halving tracker, this is where we're at. And if 2012 was scaled, Bitcoin would already be 4.2 billion. 2016 was scaled, it'd be 250,000. And 2020 would be 432. Right here, which is just pitiful. Pitiful. So are we really done? Are we really done? I hope not. I want to think we're going to have some type of run up here. And maybe we do. By the way, I've been paying a lot more attention to the liquidity tools because a lot of people have been, I say a lot of people have been signing up on upgrading their accounts from the standard to the advanced so they can get the liquidity tools. And it's just like, how this stuff hits is just beyond me. I understand how it's coded because I coded it, but the fact that you can chase these liquidations and the whales go right up to them, consume the liquidity, then back off, go up, and then back off is just crazy. And they do it time and time again, which is just amazing. They basically just liquidate both sides of the book all day, every day. And if anybody gets out of balance, they will destroy them. But long-term zoomed out, you guys know the OG chart that we traded for a very long time, and we did so well. This was so boring, and people hated it, this range. And dude, like the dudes in the Discord killed it. And dudes rocking rainbow charts out-traded the others, so it was really cool to see that happen. Not to toot my own horn, but like you got to be proud of that because this was a bitch to navigate, and we caught 2 creek jumps and a capitulation knife catch on the yen carry trade. So I was very, very happy with that. Anyway, we've been going up here, and we had a really hard time getting our order blocks. We finally got our order blocks, and then we nuked through them, popped back up when they did the strategic crypto Bitcoin reserve or crypto reserve, and then we've just continued to nuke. And we kind of had a channel walk forming, which is what I've been kind of watching. Channel walks, I'll typically start drawing them and then waiting to see if they hold up or not, because I've got to get enough candles to feel good about it. Give me a second. But I don't know. You guys tell me. What's your number? Throw it up in the chat. Is it going to 72 or are we going back up to 93? To me, I see the channel walk starting to want to break. And we're starting to break out on like crap volume. So it's kind of interesting, and this is kind of where I want to see this channel break. And if the channel breaks, I know where we're going. Like, we're obviously going to go to that order block, and then the question is, do we get through it or not? And I don't know. We may have to hit it a few times. We might. But anyway, thank you guys for coming in on this beautiful Thursday before the weekend. But when in doubt, Slip says bottoms in. Check the Mayer multiple. The goated Mayer multiple that nobody cares about. It's one of my favorite tools. The math's kind of hard to visualize. That's why this looks so damn crazy. And then I've got all our targets for the crypto bull run. We just saw the happening tracker. Let's see. Let's see if we can get here. What's up, Cybro on YouTube? How are you? We'll see if we can get here. Now, remember the timing schedules. These are the ones we've covered them in the older streams of the Mayor Multiple, like where the windows are, right? To the window, to the wall. We're looking at market timings, and this is kind of like, hey, this is one range, this is another, this is where we can potentially do this. We're starting to creep into the range that I had for this year. And I know this isn't rocket science. I can't call when the date is of the crypto top in advance, but I can tell you the windows of where it's topped in the past, and these are them, and we're starting to touch them. So the end is nigh is kind of what we're saying. And that's what we're looking for. The numbers are updating because the Mayor Multiple is moving, but roughly that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm going to move these bad boys. And it's going to suck because I don't want to move these for clout purposes later, but we're now looking at end of year target max 500, 260, and 244. That's if we go to like December 31st or end of November, which we may not. The further we peak out on the time scale, the higher we can go. That's just how the rules are. Like if we peak out now, we're looking much lower. Like that's only 350,000. And I say only 350,000, God forbid, right? But it'd be awesome to see Bitcoin hit 200K, let alone hit 100K again. But to cause the Mayor Multiple to say we're in the top, you have to hit these red bands, and we have not hit these yet. If you say, what are the red bands? It's the Mayor Multiple visualized. It's the Rainbow Trends version. So you can actually trade this damn thing. Because it's such a great tool. It's got such good back testing. But anyway, that's what we're looking at. That's the end of the year targets. I personally think we're getting close to the end, and it's going to totally suck if we missed this window. And that was the top before our window, below our targets and before our time targets. But time will tell. Maybe we get this trade war figured out. Maybe we go higher. Maybe we blow the doors off this stuff in Q4 of this year. That's my goal. But the thing I want you to know, we also don't want to screw up and have hindsight. Just like we didn't want to watch the S&P go down and have it come all the way back up and then have us sitting here looking down at it going, oh my gosh, it was down there where we should have bought. At the same time, if we get into these range, if we touch that red band on the Mayor Multiple, I'm going to scream at you every week on the weekly Whale Watch to lock the F in. Because we have to lock the F in. And that's just what we got to do, because you don't want to get all the way up here and have it violently crash. Because that can happen. And does happen every time. When I say violent, sometimes it just grinds and goes down forever. But we'll see. We shall see. But let me know. What's your target? I don't see how we don't touch 200K. If we go for the run. If. And it's just crazy to say that out loud. So I remember when 20,000 was the craziest thing ever in 2017, but is what it is. Anyway. Moving on. The Bitcoin Mayor Multiple is another way to look at the timings. This is along the same lines of kind of how I did it, but I looked at other things as well. This goes straight off colors, which is awesome. So shout out to the dudes who did keep this running, because you know I like the colors. But as you can see, we typically have the market peaks in the orange and yellows. We are currently getting into the light orange and going to be transitioning into the yellow soon. So we're looking for timing-wise to have some craziness coming soon. I say soon. This year. That's what we're looking for. Ethereum, moving on. I'm sorry. We have to move on, guys. I'm sorry. We've got time. We've got a schedule to maintain, right? We started 15 minutes late. We are way behind on slides. So bear with me. But again, you guys should be spending your time with the families. It's Easter weekend. Hope you have a good Friday. A good Friday. And if you don't have that opportunity, I'm glad you're hanging out with us. So, and we're going to go hit up the round table after this in the Discord and do open mics where it's not just me talking with music playing. But anyway, Ethereum continues to impress with the steady trajectory. It's steady. Vitalik has a plan. It's continuing to do what it always does. I still can't believe it hit $4,000 and we're already back to 1,500. But you know, this is the future of crypto. Long story short, I'm looking for this to quit printing, and I just realized this is not my music. Got to get back to the OG stuff. Shout out Body of Light. They may or may not be working on a new album, and I may or may not have got a sneak peek of a really cool song. But moving on, Ethereum looks awful, but dudes, this is kind of forming into a channel walk, a downward channel walk. And if we're talking downward channel walks, we're talking about eventually this breaking. I just don't know where this damn thing's gonna stop bleeding. It continues to just bounce off these rev bands, and it also continues to bounce off these pivots. So people are getting scalp actions, but it continues to just act like a damn slinky. And it's not giving us a deep V bottom. It's not giving us something to really react to. It's just bleed, drop, bleed, drop, bleed, drop. And we get the volume impulses every time that catches it. So it's just crazy. Yeah, Dylan, we can look at Telecoin. I'm not super on new coins right now. I'm mainly focused on the S&P, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and Solana, but we can definitely take a look. And I hope you're talking crypto, because that's what we're looking at. I don't have red bands. Why is this data weird? KuCoin. There we go. Yeah, this is the one I think we looked at with Zen. Telcoin is a real easy one, actually. I'm not bullish on alts right now, so I'm not looking for alts, but that's your line in the sand right there. And then your order blocks right there. That's your range. So your range is 45 all the way up to like 74. And you can see though, it tends to do this. I love this song. It bounces between it. Sometimes it deviates above, but it tends to bounce back and forth. And you're dealing with a pretty good range here. 70% worth of action on a move if you go from band to band. So you can scalp, you can trade it. It's not bleeding. Well, it's kind of bleeding like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but it had some really gnarly prints. That's actually insane right there. You see all the whale prints pushing down. Bam, 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 bam. There's 4 in a row on 4 hour. That's crazy. But anyway, moving on. You were meant to be the chosen one. What's up, Slip? Can you break Ethereum? Break up Ethereum? I don't know, man. Vitalik just... That's the thing, guys. It's I can't speak to this at all, but it's really hard to keep your head down and work, especially if you've been given a lot of stuff. Like Vitalik's like retired his bloodlines at this point. It's hard to get him to like be motivated and do stuff. He seems to be heavily interested in dancing and singing on stage for some damn reason. I don't know why, but maybe they can make some cool stuff happen. Frankly, the Ethereum 2.0 was a huge upgrade. It just hasn't done anything. And BlackRock set up the ETFs for it, got approvals. It's impressive. But man, there's not much money going into it. Solana got some ETF love too. I don't know if that's all approved yet. I don't really pay attention anymore. But I will say this. Of the majors, when you look at Bitcoin, it's kind of in a weird area. You look at Ethereum, it's in a bleed down area. You look at Solana. Solana has structure, and a lot of the others don't right now. So it's worth paying attention to. Yeah, he's definitely sidelined. Oh, yeah. If I had Vitalik's money, you'd see me streaming charts from a fishing boat every day. Maybe I'd hang up my engineering hat. Maybe. As much as I like engineering and hate engineering at the same time, it's a good challenge. But my big daily Ethereum order blocks, this isn't the last chart I did. I don't know what happened to it, but it's essentially these two order blocks, and we've been ranging between these bam, 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 and this is where you've seen the dudes like Pixa and Mally just destroying these, going long at the bottom, selling at the top. Bam, 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 bam. Zen too. Zen was the absolute worst at this. When I say worst, the deadliest. The stuff Zen did in this range was absolutely mind-blowing. Fishing boat purchasing statuses. And now we've kind of had a peak above, gone twice, set a higher high, and then the whale prints rolled in, and they said, no more. People went long, market crashed on here, really. And I say crashed, it's a bleed out. This is, we're looking at daily charts here, so mind you, this is not a flash crash in crypto. But Solana pulled back 67%. You would have thought this was a Tesla chart. But we wicked down below the order block, which is held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 10 times, 11 times kind of. We got a little deviation here, but we have structure. We're back above. The hardest thing is the hardest thing with an order block is to get through it and then get back above it. They've already got a back above it. And my timing on saying that was really weird. They've gotten back above it. I gotta quit saying that. It's messing with me. They're back above. Sorry. Price is above this damn line, and it's retested it. And sorry, I got this cranked up because we were looking at DJI. Defaults are zeros. We're back above this. I did it again. It's gonna be a drinking game. We are above the price, and we've retested this pivot, so I'm really interested to see where this goes, because this gives us another chance. And if Solana starts walking off, remember, Solana led a lot of stuff in the cycle before everything else. And I've got 60-something% to move off here without the perfect entry, but I'm looking and watching this for sure. For sure. Out of everything that I have that doesn't have structure, looks bad, we're in unknown areas, Solana is in the easy structure that the Rainbow Trend stuff identifies. For sure. For sure. Anyway, sorry, banning people in the chat. Twitch is the worst with that. We get spams in the chat. But then as soon as I release a video, there's people asking for help with their wallets in YouTube, and they post the comments, here's my seed phrase, can you help me with this? Over and over and over again. But yeah, Solana, I'm actually interested in this, and we're seeing some volume ticks here. So we got to see if they can keep moving this up, because that's where we need to be. Anyway, moving on. AI tokens getting some love, and I went back and checked render. I've been bot trading the hell out of render for October, almost 6 months now, and I've made, I think, 60% now. It's somewhere in the 50s, I think. Rate of return on that bot, just because it's been super volatile. It normally doesn't get to trade that much in back testing, but I've been forward testing this bot, and it's done really well, the T-Node. And we've gotten so many dips into these bands, I've been able to automate catching these rainbows and taking little scalps, catch rainbow, scalp, rainbow, scalp, and it prints, right? Rocket science. No, it's, I don't know what it is. It's rainbow theory. It's a lot of code, but it works because we know what these whales can and can't do. And like I said, they're not going to go to zero every time. They're going to push it down until the bulls bite back. And when the bulls bite back, you can get that scalp. But one of the things is I was noticing is you could argue we're now starting to get into drives where the drives are failing to go lower. We're not getting as many white candles, and we're getting support to show up. Now we're getting support on older pivots, which is really awesome to see, because when you're driving down price and you're setting lower and lower pivots, you start to see an actual pivot hold. That's really bullish, and you can catch that the whales are shifting the momentum, and they're looking to shift to make it go forward, so, and up. So we may be in the moment of this right now, and that's also kind of what it looks like on Solana. It looks like they're about to turn it. And it's not going to be a 200,000% move, but what you're getting at is the base of the turn. And if you can get in position at the base of the turn and protect yourself, you're looking at the move up, which is a really nice place to be. But moving on, again, thank you for all calling in. We'll archive this later. Speaking of AI tokens, NVIDIA has said that they're going to start mass production in the Texas plants to ramp up in 12 to 15 months. And this is a key point. A lot of people think Apple can just move iPhones to Texas or San Antonio or Florida, Tallahassee, you name it. They can for billions of dollars and like magnitudes of time. Like not 2 months, you're talking like 12 months plus for these manufacturing things. It is the easiest thing in the world to make a prototype. It's the hardest thing in the world to make 100,000 of those prototypes perfectly. And that's the problem. That's why you see like Elon and them can just shoot out, hey, here's a Tesla Roadster, here's a Tesla Cybertruck. And then it takes 5 to 10 years to see the things actually in production. Totally easy to make a prototype, hard to make manufacturing plants. And it's not that it's like you can't do it. It's just like you can't do it this year. You could get the funding to do it, but I think they were saying, I think Apple said they could move 10% of their production to the United States, and it would take 18 months and like $20 billion to move like 10% of it. So like you can do it, but it's crazy amounts of money. And God knows what the iPhones are going to cost at that point. So good luck, Tim Cook, negotiating with the Trump team. Hope you figure that one out, because flying in phones from China in 747s is probably over. But we'll see. I don't really like Apple products anymore. I was kind of a Woz fan back in the day, but that's about it. You go, Runner, oh my gosh, why? People that have like mean vibes, I'm not about that. Really turns me off. I'll burn a bridge over attitude. Whether that's for the best or the worst, I don't know. I'll walk away. Lesson in that. For better, for worse. Anyway, I think the Lenovo dudes are way cooler. But NVIDIA, your perfect child, which has not dropped in forever, is showing weakness for the first time. And they're actually saying, hey, Trump, we're going to move to Texas. Let's look at this bottom here to run up to the top. 1200% run, and it's now showing weakness. This is the first time we've like seen an order block taken. This is big, because when there's altitude under your feet, this ain't good. But we'll see. Every time people try to, and I'm not saying short NVIDIA, but every time I've seen someone short NVIDIA, they blow up. Lesson in that. Can you look at you? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. But the thing to say here is there's a lot of altitude here, and if the NVIDIA stock starts this path, right? I don't foresee the S&P just going up when one of the biggest stocks in the world is doing that. I just don't. So let me know what your thoughts are. I don't think AMD is going to come in here and save the day either, do you? So, I don't know. Nancy Pelosi's still long, apparently. She hasn't disclosed a sell yet, so we'll see. Like I said, I don't know. I just don't know. But something that hasn't bled in years is bleeding now. And I don't know. We rarely ever see candles touch this band. Ever. And we're getting multiple. And it's getting really interesting. So we shall see. But what was the ticker? U. Let's take a look at the old yellow rock. Now, I have seen Trump talk about America needs more power, more electricity. And that's true. If you guys don't remember, you remember that famous thing where the California grid said, don't plug in your Teslas at night because the power grid can't handle it, and turn off your air conditioners? EVs are cool. But if you plug them in all at the same time, you have no idea how much electricity it takes to charge one of those things. Like 10 hair dryers turned on at once type of levels of wattage. And everybody plugs them in when they come home in the evening, so it's really crazy. Like I said, it's one of the things they've really overlooked in the EV programs is the power grids just can't take it. It needs so much more. And firing up more coal plants doesn't really make sense to power an EV revolution, but that's just me. Attack carbon fuels to power your electric cars with carbon fuels. It's just a bad vibe. I'm actually glad you pointed this out. I haven't looked at uranium in a long time. I don't like playing with it because oil to me moves like a stock. Uranium doesn't move to me like that. Albeit we're looking at daily charts, so this is really big exaggeration. With that being said, the order block is clear. 426 to 481. And we're getting support in this area again. We're back up above it. I don't know what news was, but you can see ridiculous amount of selling here. When you see that many of the yellow candles, like that is what whales are doing to try to drive price down and find a bottom. And it looks like they found it. Because we had one more drive down on weaker volume, and then that was it. And now she's back up and she's reclaimed the order block. So it's really interesting. Solar panels can do somewhat, Mim. The problem with solar panels is the majority of the world doesn't live in an area where there's enough sunlight to do it. Like solar panels work really, really good in Nevada, but like they don't do anything in Canada, New York. It's like 20% of the world's populated areas have like adequate sunlight to really do solar panels. As much as I love solar, that's just the truth of it, and the fact that they make no power at night is the other problem. Out of all the stuff, hydroelectric is really good, and so is nuclear. Albeit nuclear is not really renewable, but it's clean. If that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, man. Like a bunch of South America, like you think of like Brazil, think south of South America. There's the sunlight's not there. Canada, a lot of Europe, northern countries, they don't have it. Like I can tell you, majority of China and like Russia, solar ain't gonna work there. At least not sustainably, or you would burn more carbon making the equipment than you would get back. Right? So it's just kind of crazy. So UUU announced they can produce the rare earth materials that China put on tariffs. That's super bullish. So you have a China tariff trade here. And they have earnings coming up. Was that today that they announced that? That's cool. Yeah, look at the volume impulse. It happened recently. That's cool, dude. Thank you, iStutters. If you guys don't know, he's calling in from Twitch today. We got Twitch and YouTubers chatting left and right. I guess, no, you guys can see it on the bottom right. You guys can see the chat. That's cool. Never mind, I forget. On my screen with like all the monitors, I can barely see the small replay of what I'm looking at right now. To me, I mainly just see the chart. But anyway, yeah. You got 3.5. Holy shit, dude. You Pico sniped that. iStutters is confirmed inside trader of UUUU. I will collaborate testimony for the right price at IRS. Yeah, Cybro, I agree. I think AMD is going to do great eventually. AMD alternates every cycle. And I was really hoping the AMD cycle here, this channel walk, was going to break. I really thought that was going to be the breakout of the channel walk. And then we went right back into the channel walk. So eventually AMD is going to break. And I'm going to go long as F. And get long. But we're just not there. These channel walks, man, I've been in them for 2 to 3 months before they break. It's just crazy. Anyway, we've deviated a bit. My slide deck's all over the place. But remember we were talking about NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is moving to Texas. If you guys don't know, the current NVIDIA headquarters, It's like 80 or 90% of the company's employees are millionaires right now. And there's a shortage of green Lamborghinis in the local area. And I think that's weird, right? No. The actual NVIDIA headquarters is filled with green Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff like that, which is it's just a cool vibe. I mean, you could hate people on Ferraris, but like tech bros making it in the industry and then all buying like green Lambos, it's pretty cool. But remember, NVIDIA is coming to Texas, so you're going to see these bad boys coming down the road. Neon green F-350s. So be careful when you see this coming. Man, do they still make those tires? Those are, oh, give me a second. Those are Super Swamper radials. My buddy used to have those. They were really good tires. Super Swamper Interco Lightco tires. Because that's what we're here for, guys. You guys know that I build beach trucks. I don't build mudding trucks, but they still make them. This is the Truxus STS. It's actually a really cool looking tire, and they're actually pretty decent. They're not too loud, but man, you never see people using these things anymore. I guess you could argue that's not as good looking as the new Toyos or the Nittos, but 33s, 38s. My truck would look ridiculous on 38s. What's the 20s going to give us? 20s you can get 40-inch tires. That's awesome. Do they still make the super? Yeah. So these are the old school Super Swampers. Dirt Hogs as well. I always wanted these when I was growing up, Thornbirds. I heard they're just god awful and loud. I always thought they were cool. Anyway, moving on. Back to Mag 7. Not looking at truck tires anymore. Sadly. We can talk about those in the roundtable in a little bit if you guys want to hop on Discord. But S&P down. Amazon down. Apple got really destroyed. When I talk about like some of the big tech stocks, when's the last time you got like a 30% discount on Apple buying opportunity? Tell me, because I don't know. Meta as well. And this was an interesting one to me. When a lot of the stocks have been struggling over the past like 18 months, Meta has been on freaking fire. And now it's actually showing some pullback, which is kind of shitty. But we got to keep a pulse. Got to keep a pulse. Cybro on YouTube saying he's got some long-term holds on these. I mean, honestly, Microsoft's wow, Microsoft lost that order block. I haven't looked at it in a while. They got like the coolest whatchamacallit computer, quantum computer, and no one cared. So that's fun. NVIDIA, Tesla I still think is going to bounce. We can look at that later. I'll do that in the roundtable because I'm running out of time. But the AMD one is clearly a channel walk, and this is going to go eventually. As I'm talking to I blocked the screen, but yeah, that I want to see that go. But moving on. We got stuff to do, dude. I would love to put this on the Tundra, but man, I am a Nitto and a Toyo guy. When I say Nitto and Toyo, they're the same like company, but to put it bluntly, gold is acting like everyone said crypto would act during a worldwide regime struggle with fiat and tariffs and all that other stuff. Gold continues to be the infinite bid. And I suspect China is dumping their bonds. Wouldn't be surprised. And I think they're buying gold. Silver's not getting any bid. Gold is getting an infinite bid. So gold, which has done nothing forever, year to date, it's been trading like an altcoin. It's up 28%. And it continues to go. Now, that being said, I did notice this, and I tweeted about it earlier. We are getting volume impulses that come in waves on gold, and we're starting to get a third one. You can see how this like arcs up and then arcs back down, right? Do you guys see that? Let me know. We're arced up right now, and I'm waiting for it to arc back down. So if that means like we're talking about, is it the bars pattern? We're looking at like a pullback, right? Not even a bad one. unless we're talking about like the top, but it's pretty much looking like we're going to come back down to like 3,100, which boo-hoo, right? But we'll see. But anyway, I say they're dump bonds. Take a look at bond yields. U.S. 10-year, it's still up. It's not screaming to where it was like at 4.6 and the Fed started having emergency meetings, but it's still up at like 4.3 right now. So we'll see how that continues. We shall see. But moving on from governments, let's take a look at Coinbase. If you didn't know, Coinbase launched a token, basis for everyone, on Zora. The token hit 15 million market cap. Base then launches another token, and the first token nukes, and then the second token nukes. I cannot believe what I'm witnessing. I can tell you this. I really like the Coinbase product, but I really don't like what they keep doing to the industry with this type of stuff. Their public relations could not be worse. And if you guys don't know, I'm a Kraken affiliate because I fully support Jesse Powell, the CEO of my heart. I know they have a new CEO. But I highly recommend you guys give Kraken a try because this type of stuff from Coinbase is just infuriating. They're a pro-crypto community. They do awesome stuff. Crazy, crazy good legal team. But they do not have it together. TrendSpider understands the crypto vibes. Kraken understands the crypto vibes in the community. These guys keep doing like dumb stuff that like really is upsetting. Betting on Coinbase on an on-chain, like dude, that sounds great. And this stuff completely rugged. So let's check out the chart. How's Coinbase doing? You guys remember when we were trading the yen trade and we started doing scalp. I've got my old trades here if you want to reference them. I've got old streams about those. We rode them all the way up. We had crazy euphoria here. And you don't know how many people at $300 plus were telling me, Runner, you need to go like bet your life savings on Coinbase. It's going to go to 500. I was like, no. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't buy pink candles. I don't long pink candles. It's not a thing for me. Lo and behold, 4 months later, it broke the resistance block, which should have been support at that point, and now Coinbase is down 60%. Like, that's like Ethereum pullback numbers, right? But we're talking Coinbase. So I think Kraken's going to have an IPO. I'm heavily interested. But with that being said, as Solana chart was showing support, as it was, we have Coinbase nuking into the reversion bands, pinning white candles, hitting a support order block. Where does Rainbow Theory say to buy? Rainbow Theory starts saying to buy here. With that being said, we have not seen any volume show up. I don't know if you guys have any targets for this. If you think it's going lower, let me know in the chat. But I think this may be bottomed. But it's going to have to form. It's not V-bottomed enough to get me to buy it. When I say V-bottom, I'm talking about like that. That was a god candle into the reversion bands that happened in a few hours. I bought the hell out of that, got a scalp, and then longed it when all the dust settled, and then did another long when it broke out. Did really good there, and I haven't been interested in it since. I want easy rainbow setup trades, and now we're starting to get into another one. This isn't going to be a capitulation knife catch, but it's looking like it's forming support, and we want to see this thing bounce around, maybe retest, whatever, come back in time, and then move back up, right? Like, that's what we're trying to do. Keep it simple, right? No, it's support, bearish colors, support. That's where Rainbow Theory comes in and says, hey, you need to start like trying to long this. Then you can get really cool tires for your Tundra. So, moving on. What was a really, really important, cool thing this month? Coachella. And I can tell you with confidence, I don't know 90% of the artists that showed up at Coachella. A lot of the names I actually think aren't performers. I think Bernie Sanders actually performed, which is interesting, but OGs don't forget about Prodigy, and Prodigy played at Coachella, and this was absolutely awesome. If you guys don't know who Prodigy is, these are the dudes that had made like electrical music back in the 90s when like no one was making stuff like this. It sounds kind of like good today, but like you have to realize there was nothing like this in the 80s and 90s. And R.I.P. Keith Moon, we miss you, but we still, guys, I'm going to mute the volume and like just listen to this, and hopefully we'll get copyright. 60% of the general ticket admissions to Coachella use the buy now, pay it later. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I hear or see something like that, that scares me about the current market healthiness. There was all the jokes about the buy now, pay it later that you could do for Uber Eats, I think is what it was. So people were doing payment plans on burritos. Now they're doing 60%. They're doing pay now, buy later Coachella tickets. And now the memes are back. So I just love it. So Dip Wheeler. You thought coin? You thought a coin on base? Oh, I'm sorry. Damn it! I got the wrong Dip Wheeler. He had one. It was damn it. It was so you bought a collateralized, overpriced ticket. Oh man, we're like an hour into the stream and I'm messing up that one. Damn it! If you guys don't know, I have to get I would load like 20 gigs of RAM worth of Chrome tabs to run these streams, and I can't see the icons anymore when I get to that point. But we're going to wrap up here. Appreciate everyone calling in, and I wanted to show you guys this because remember the earthquake we had earlier this week over in California? Apparently, captive elephants still have their instincts to defend their young. So these elephants at the San Diego Zoo rushed to shield their young during a 5.2 magnitude earthquake, forming an alert circle around their youngest. And I just thought this was the coolest thing. Check this out. They know something's wrong and they go to protect the babies. Isn't that cool? That's so cool. I love elephants. They're cool. How you could ever hunt one, I would never understand. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna go hang out in the Rainbow Trends Discord. You see Pepe Cinco there next to us. We're gonna go hit it up, hang out in the Discord. If you guys have questions, concerns, anything about any of this Rainbow Theory, you want to talk to the OGs, you want to talk to unbiased people that use the tools besides me, you can go talk to these dudes in the Discord. Ask questions, ask me questions. You want to learn how to code Pine, you want to talk Toyotas, we're all about it. But we're going to go there and hang out in the Discord, hang out in the round table. We do this every Thursday after the streams. But thanks for all showing up. Please click like, comment, subscribe, drop anything with these algos to wake them up. Much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes in the Discord. If you need the Discord link, it's always